Okay, guys, so real quick demo on how to do your vector graphics with the Polyline tool. I've already made one shape here. Um, I have followed the directions on the dock so far, so I've got my image that I want to use right here. If I delete that really quick, you can see that because most of my image is pretty light, I added a black background. If you don't like the way this looks once you remove your picture, and it looks more like mosaic style, then you can change your background color then if you want to. So your Polyline tool is up here in the line tool menu. It's right here. You'll click that. And basically each time you close a shape, you're going to be dealing with the color of the shape and then also taking away the border if it's on there already. So say I want to add in this shadow right here. I'm going to pick a starting point, and you're going to want to zoom in on your image. When you zoom in, don't use your shortcut commands because that'll kind of mess up what you're doing. Go up in the actual menu up above. And you can do it there, and I'll show you that in just a second. So I'm clicking and then moving around, and then once you get back to your starting point, you've got a shape over your value or your color. So then you've got a fill color option and then your border color. So your fill color option, you're probably not going to use these as much. You're probably going to need to go and make a custom color. So this was the color I'm using for my dress, like the hue of my dress. And that was about over here. So I'm going to need a darker color for my shadows, maybe a little bit lighter than that, but we'll go with that for right now. And then I'm going to make my border transparent. So then if I've got this color selected on here, I can go in and I can add in all of my other shadows right here for this one. And you're leaving just a little sliver of space, but I don't have to go back and do that every time. So if you've got a color that shows up in a couple of different places, like maybe your skin tone color, if you're doing a portrait, a skin tone color where that value with lighter shadow or whatever's going on in that area shows up a couple times, then go ahead and do all of those shapes. And then you don't have to sit there and take off the outline and change the color every single time you draw a shape. If you're not careful, it's easy to accidentally double click while you're drawing your shape, and that will stop your shape where you're making it. So I'll try to show you an example of that. So here, I really wanted to go back down here and connect over here, and it made that shape, and it actually might work for where I'm at, but sometimes that really doesn't work. Like if I was doing my shadow in my hair and I went up and over here, and then I was here, and then I double clicked, it would cut right back to where I started instead of allowing me to go in here. You can just undo, or you can make that two different shapes if you want. So if you need to zoom in on a spot that has a lot of detail to it, you're going to actually, when you're not making a shape, click on view and then zoom, and then you can zoom in just gradually or as much as you want, or zoom out so you can see the whole picture if you want to do that. So those are just some tips and tricks for how to do this. Really, it's just a lot of clicking around and making shapes. And when I'm done with this whole area, or as you're going, if you want to kind of check and see what it's looking like, you can click your picture and either move it out of the way or just delete it so that you're seeing it on the background. And then you can put it back by just clicking back and then going forward. Two, I was working on my iris and I didn't want a flat color. You have the option of adding a solid color or adding a gradient if you want to. If you've got an area where maybe it's on a glass bottle or on a face or on your eye or whatever, where maybe you have some gradation there where it's not just one flat value, you can play around with these gradients if you want to, or you can simplify it and just leave it a solid color.